Hey, welcome to this Daisy compensation plan video where we break down each component of the Daisy referral plan and show you how you can maximize your results. First and foremost, a legal disclaimer. I need to let you know that I am not a financial advisor, and by no means is this video any form or shape of financial advice to anyone. Purchasing the Daisy crowdfund packages is a contribution to the equity crowdfund for the Daisy AI development and not a trading investment. The trading accounts will be used for the purpose of testing and developing, where past performance does not guarantee future results and is for informational purposes only. Daisy is currently not available in all countries, including the USA. Please go ahead and visit the website if you want to check for any country specifically. Now, let's go and have a recap. What are the rewards for contributors in Daisy? There are, first of all, up to 10 crowdfunding tiers to choose from, starting at just $100. Each contributor gets their equal share of 5% Endotech stock. 50 to 70% of each contribution is used in trading for developments. 70% of the trading profits are rewarded back to the contributor. 15% of the trading profit are rewarded to the residual referral plan. Contributors can withdraw trading rewards at any time, and all members are able to participate in the Daisy referral plan that pays out up to 46% of each contribution. Now, let's take a look at the passive income opportunity before we move into the referral plan. What are the benefits if a member does not refer anyone? Well, first of all, you'll own equity, which has a potential return from selling Endotech stock or receiving dividends in the future. Trading rewards, potential rewards from successful trading performance of Endotech's AI system, and potential matrix spillover, where you can generate a maximum of up to 48% return on your own crowdfunding contribution purely from spillover in the referral plan, even though you refer absolutely no one. Okay. Now, it's important to know each of the different crowdfunding tier. It starts with entry tier 1 at $100, and then entry tier 2, which is an additional $200, which means total funded would have been $300, as you can see on the screen here. Entry 3 would be $400 additional, which would mean if you've gone up to entry tier 3, you will have contributed a total of $700, and so on and so forth. There are 10 different crowdfunding tier entry, which can come to a total of $102,300. Now, for each tier, for each of those tier that you contribute to, you get a position in a matrix. Now, we will discuss that in a little bit more in detail shortly, but if you contributed just to tier 1, you only appear on one of the matrix tier 1. Someone, let's say if you've contributed up to tier 7, so that means you have a position in 7 different matrices. That means you can get paid on 7 different matrices. Now, let's go into more details of the actual referral plan, break it down, and most importantly, show you how you can maximize your result. What did the people in the first 5 days do for those who's been able to earn the maximum or best results so far? The referral plan has 8 different ways plus the stock equity of you benefiting. There's 5 upfront income, your personal referral bonus, your 3x10 forced matrix bonus, matrix check matching bonus, Pacesetter Gold bonus, Pacesetter Leadership bonus. But you also have a residual income from trading profits where you can get 10 generation uni-level trading bonus, Pacesetter Gold bonus, Pacesetter Leadership bonus. And those combined will pay out up to 46% maximum. So let's look at the first one. When you introduce someone into the business, you introduce someone into Daisy, you get a personal referral bonus of 5% direct bonus from personal referral. Now, people often ask, hey, but if I'm only on a lower tier and I introduce someone on a higher tier, do I get paid on the full tiers that the person contribute to? Absolutely. There are no qualifications required for this bonus. As an example, you could be on tier 1, you've contributed $100. You introduce someone who contributes tier 1, 2, and 3, which is a total of $700. You would make 5%, in this example, $35. Now, before we move on to the second type of bonus, it's important that we explain to you what is a forced matrix placement, because that is what Daisy uses. To your left here on case 1, we have an example without any spillover. In these examples, we're assuming the yellow little icon is you, here indicated by the arrow, and you have joined the business and you've introduced some people who's fallen into your matrix. Now, on your level 1 of your matrix, there's only 3 spaces because it uses a 3 by 10 matrix. What does that mean? On level 2, each person now from your level 1 has 3 spots. On your level 2, there'll be 9 available places for people to drop in. And so on. Level 3 will have 27 and so on, 3 by 3 by 3 up to 10 levels deep. Now, case 1, we're showing those 3 people are your people that you have introduced, and that's their people. So there's no spillover there. But it's very important that you understand the concept of spillover because it's highly beneficial in this project, especially where you can make a certain amount of percentage without even referring anyone. Now let's look at case 2, spillover. So here we're going to assume that the person above you is in purple or bluish here. Let's just say, like we said, they have 3 people. You are right there in the middle, but they had 2 other people. Let's just say that's all there is right now. The person above you, and they've introduced 3 people, including you in the middle. And let's say no one does anything except this person who's above you now has more people they want to introduce to the business. When they introduce the next one, it's going to go here, A1. When they have a second person to introduce, as you see with this arrow, it goes here. We call it A2. That is someone who's now in your matrix, but was not introduced by you. It was introduced from someone above you. And that is what we call spillover. Here's the great news. You benefit from that person in exactly the same way, even if that person was introduced by you when it comes to the matrix. So let's clear this and move forward so we can explain this in more details. The matrix bonus allows you, without referring anyone, with a 0 referral requirement and 0 funding requirement, you are able to benefit of generation 1 and generation 2 of your matrix. Now, we're going to use tiers 1 to 7 as example because the majority of the people have and probably will join between tiers 1 to 7 rather than tiers 8, 9, and 10. Now, here's what happened. You have 3 position on your generation 1. Let's assume you've introduced no one, but through spillover that we've just explained, those 3 position has been filled up. You get 4% of each of those 3 people up to the same tier you've contributed. So that is a possibility of 12%. Likewise, generation 2 of your matrix, where there's a potential 9 positions, if those were filled, you get 4% on each. As they get filled, you don't have to wait for the whole level to be filled, where you could get another 36%. Now that means without referring anyone, you could potentially make 48%, or I should say up to 48% of your own crowdfunding contributions. But the great news is you can actually make even more than that. Here's how. There's a grace period of 48 hours. In the first 48 hours from the time you sign up, there are no matrix qualifications required. That means you can earn matrix bonus on up to 10 generations. Now let's go and see what does that mean. Now, after the first 48 hours, if you have not referred anyone, this is what you can possibly get from the matrix bonus, up to 48% maximum. But for the first 48 hours that you sign up, you could earn of any level, which means if you have spillover, which is dropping into your generation 3, 4, all the way to generation 10, in the first 48 hours, you get paid on that. However, after those 48 hours, you need to qualify. Now, let's go and take a look at if your third level, we know in the first 2 level could give you up to 48%, as we've just seen. Imagine in your first 48 hours, even if you haven't referred anyone, your level generation 3 of your matrix has been filled with 27 people, where now you get 3% of each. Again, using tiers 1 to 7, you get that up to the tiers that you've contributed yourself. That gives you an additional potential 81%. Guess what? You're already at 129%. That means in this hypothetical example, even if you referred no one, but your first 3 generations of your matrix were filled up in the first 48 hours, you could already have made 29% more than the total amount you contributed towards the crowdfunding yourself. That's great. Now, after the first 48 hours, you would need to qualify to carry on benefiting of generation 3 onwards. So here is how you can qualify. To qualify for generation 3, you need to have sponsored a minimum of 3 people or more, and the total funding by the people you've personally sponsored yourself has to be $1,000 or more total. Very often people think it has to be 3 people, it has to be 1,000. No, this could be 10 people who's contributed to tier 1, which is $100. That is a total of 1,000, which means you have 3 or more people, you have 1,000 or more from your direct funders. That's done, right? Now, that could also be, you could have 1 person on 700, 1 person on 300, and 1 person on 100, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. 3 different people. As long as you have the minimum numbers of directly sponsored and their total funding comes to this, you qualify now for generation 3. And the same applies for each generation. Let's go ahead and take one more example. To qualify for generation 6, you need to personally sponsor a minimum of 12 people or more, whose total contribution adds up to $8,000 or more, and now you qualify for generation 6. So if we draw a line here, if you were qualified for generation 6, you could, I say could because it depends, it has to be filled up. When the whole level, generation 1 and 2 of your matrix is filled up, you can make up to 48%. Generation 3 being filled up can give you up to 81% of your own crowdfunding amount. Hey, generation 4 on its own can give you up to 243%. Generation 5 can give you up to 729% of your own crowdfunding contribution. And if you were qualified up to generation 6, and generation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of your matrix was filled up to the same tiers that you've contributed, totally filled up, you could make up to 2,187% just on that level. When you add all of these up, that is over 3,000%. Please bear in mind, this is a hypothetical example based on your own efforts, as well as these numbers, these generations being filled, as in this example, okay? Now, so that is what the matrix bonus is. As we've said before, in the matrix bonus, it doesn't matter if someone is in your matrix, whether they were sponsored by you, by someone in your team, or by someone above you in the organization, the percentage are exactly the same. Now, we also have a matrix check matching bonus. Again, the same rule apply. You will qualify up to the same tier that you've contributed to, as well as the same generation that you have unlocked in your matrix. But what this means is for each person that you have personally sponsored, you can make up to 10% of their matrix bonus. Let's take an example. Let's say you introduce John, and John today made $5,000 on the matrix bonus, provided up to the same generations and tiers that you have unlocked. You get 10% of that. So assuming you were qualified up to the same generation as John or higher, well, in this example, you make 10% of 5,000 and you would make $500 on top of everything else that we've already shown so far. Then we have the uni-level residual trading bonus. Now for a minute, we need you to put the matrix aside. The matrix, as we've explained, includes your personal people, their people, as well as people coming from above you in the organization. A uni-level means that's your personal organization. Here, your level 1 means all the people that you've personally sponsored into the business. So if you've sponsored, let's say 4 people, A, B, C, and D, those are the people that fall in your level 1. Everyone that A sponsors directly, B sponsors directly, C sponsors directly, and D sponsors directly, meaning everyone who you've sponsored directly, the people they introduce personally into the business, they become your level 2. And whoever they introduce in the business become your level 3, and so on and so forth. In this uni-level residual trading bonus, you would make 3.5% of the trading profit of everyone you personally sponsored into the business. So everyone who falls into your level 1 in your uni level, you would make 3.5%. And everyone else from your personal organization up to level 10 in your uni level, qualification required because it can only go up to the same generation you have unlocked in your matrix, but you can make 1% of the trading profit of everyone in your personal organization up to level 10 in your uni level. Now, this is absolutely huge because this is a pure residual income on the back end, on the trading profits of the people of your team, of your organization. Now we get to the interesting part. Now, this is where, for those of you who really want to maximize your results in this project, you need to be paying really full attention to this. It starts with the pace setter bonus. But let's go to this promotion first of all, where in the first 30 days, whichever matrix generation you unlock, automatically the system unlocks an additional level for you. Hey, we already know the first 2 levels, there's no requirement. That's already unlocked for everyone. Let's say you sponsor a minimum of 3 people whose total contribution is $1,000 or more. You have now unlocked generation 3. But guess what happened? As soon as you do that, provided it's in your first 30 days of joining, automatically the matrix generation 4 is unlocked for you. That means instead of just potentially benefiting from the 3, 9, and 27 people that could fall into your matrix, you would now also earn, if anyone, up to the 81 people that could fall on your generation 4 were to come in, you don't miss out on that. So once again, if you do the requirement to unlock generation 3, anything that fall on generation 4, you will get paid on it because it's a promotion in the first 30 days that it unlocks an extra level. The key question here is very often, what happens if you unlock generation 9 by introducing 21 personal people with a total contribution of $64,000 or more? Well, automatically it will unlock level 10 for you. So often the question is then, what is the benefit of me actually doing the full unlocking of generation 10? Well, that is the $1 million question, because that's where the fun starts. You see, if you were to unlock the full generation 10 by introducing a minimum of 24 people whose total contribution is $128,000 or more, and you have to do this in your first 30 days from the day you start, you already unlock generation 10. After unlocking generation 9, it's unlocked it for you. What do you get? That is when you become what we call a pace setter gold. You become a pace setter gold, where you get a profit share in 1.8% of all global contributions, as well as 1.25% of all global trading profits, and 5% equity share of Endotech stock. Now, all of that is pooled and distributed between everyone who qualifies for Pacesetter Gold. We're going to go into more details with that, because this is everything. This is where you can maximize your results on the Pacesetter Gold bonus, as well as the Pacesetter Leadership bonus. Let's start with the Pacesetter Gold. 1.8% of every contribution made globally into the DAISY crowdfund project is distributed equally between everyone who qualifies for Pacesetter Gold, as well as 1.25% of the profits of everyone in the entire organization. And on top of that, 5% equity share of Endotech stock is also distributed. Now, here's an example. In the first 5 days of the DAISY AI project, over $50 million was funded. 50 million. And there were around, give or take, 100 pace setters only in that time. Now imagine this, 50 million at 1.8%, that is $900,000 that was distributed amongst the pace setter gold bonus. Now that is powerful, because from the time you become a pace setter gold, every time someone is purchasing or crowdfunding a tier anywhere in the world, a percentage of that comes to you. Now, for the Pacesetter Gold, you have to complete that in your first 30 days from your registration. Now, the real icing on the cake is Pacesetter Leadership Bonus. But the icing on the cake there is the fact that even if you missed out on Pacesetter Gold, you can still achieve Pacesetter Leadership Bonus. Because for the Pacesetter Leadership Bonus, there's no time limit. All you have to do is help 3 of your personally referred people become Pacesetter Gold themselves, and you now become a Pacesetter Leadership Bonus. Now, again, another 1.8% of every crowdfunding tier purchase funded is put into a pool and distributed equally. Here's the thing. In the first 5 days, again, based on the 50 million total crowdfunded, 1.8% of that is 900,000. Guess what? I believe there was around just 10 people that became Pacesetter Leadership Bonus. Can you imagine? In 5 days, $900,000 on approximately was distributed between just 10 people. So the aim to maximize in the DAISY AI project, you want to become a Pacesetter Gold as soon as possible. To recap, how to do that, you need to have 24 personally sponsored people whose total contribution is $128,000. Sometimes people think, well, how do I break it down? If I have one person who's gone all the way to tier 10, 102,000, and I have someone at tier, let's say 8, which is 25,700 or 800, Well, you could have 22 more people on just $100 tier one. That would meet the requirement because you have 24 directs and the total funding is 128,000. You are now Pacesetter Gold qualified. Second step, well, you need to go and help a minimum of 3 people do exactly the same in their first 30 days so that you can qualify for the second leadership pool that we call the Pacesetter Leadership Bonus. Now, this brings us to the end of this compensation plan breakdown. Just to recap on the Pacesetter Gold and the Pacesetter Leadership Bonus, well, potentially up to 3.6% of every contribution worldwide is distributed between the Pacesetter Gold and the Pacesetter Leadership Bonus. 3.6% of every single crowdfunding tier that's purchased globally. And on top of that, potentially up to 2.5% of everyone's trading profits worldwide is divided between the Pacesetters. And those get paid out instantly. So the aim again is for you to become Pacesetter, Pacesetter Gold, Pacesetter Leadership as soon as possible so you benefit from this. Now, if this video was helpful to you, make sure you go and like and subscribe. Subscribe especially because you will get notified when any future videos are uploaded. The next video to be coming out, some of you may know that we are on the Tron blockchain, but we're not going to be using Tron. We're going to be using USDT on the Tron blockchain. So that's a last minute change that had to happen. The next video will be explaining why and how to manage it, which exchanges to use so that you have an ease of process. So make sure you like and subscribe and comment if this was helpful to you.